Hi guys, welcome back to another video. I apologise, it's been a while since I've uploaded, but just so you know, I do have my PS2, the final part of my PS2 collection video, just kind of waiting in the wings to be uploaded. I just need to do a bit of minor editing first, so that'll be coming out soon. And then I do intend to do some more gaming videos, as that's kind of the main focus of this channel. I am kind of branching out a little bit and just going to talk about a couple of things that interest me and that I want to share, and that, yeah, if people find it interesting, then great, and if not, then it's just good to have events sometimes and slap it over some gameplay, to be honest. So yeah, without further ado, let's get straight into this. And as you can see, the subject of the video is perfectionism. This is something that I honestly didn't even know it existed until maybe about a week or two ago, and I was struggling with a couple of things in work, outside of work, and I did some research and I talked to some people about it. One of the things that was suggested to me was that what I was exhibiting was kind of classic symptoms of perfectionism. So I've kind of done a little bit of research into it. Not a massive amount, I'll be honest. I've got a book on Audible that I'm kind of cruising through at the moment. So, but really, I just want to kind of run through like what it is, as I think it might be something that a few people might also struggle with as well. And I think sometimes if you can kind of recognize some of the things you're struggling with, it really helps you kind of deal with them. So yeah, perfectionism can be seen as a positive trait for sure under the right circumstances, but sometimes I think it can get a bit out of control, and that's when it can become kind of damaging to you. So perfectionism is about striving to be perfect, to be flawless at everything, to you can set yourself really high goals and targets, and that's not always a bad thing. But like I just said, you can go too far with it and be a little bit unrealistic, and it can get you down ultimately. I mean, for me, really, I found over the last few years it has caused me some stress and anxiety, and stopped me from really kind of trying some of the things that I want to try. I suppose the way I feel that it's displayed most with me is that even if I'm trying something for the first time, something new, I'll always have unrealistic expectations of myself or targets, and then when I don't quite hit them, I'm disappointed rather than sort of satisfied with the fact that I've tried something new. I'll always compare myself to other people as well in that activity, whether it's a new activity or an activity that I've been doing for a long time. So, for example, work. In my job, I compare myself to people all the time, and I always compare in a negative way, not a positive way. I'll never compare and think. I'll never compare when it comes to things that I might be better at than somebody else. I'll always look at something somebody else does that's good, or they're really talented at, and kind of feel like that. Oh, I'm not that good. I couldn't do that. And it's a really negative way of thinking. I'm never really looking at my strengths or my positives. I might compare myself to somebody in the workplace who's really organized and structured, and that's not me at all. You can even see it in the way I make these videos. They're not perfect by, any stretch of the imagination. They're not really structured in what I say. Sometimes I go off on a tangent. That's how I prefer to do it. And it's mainly because I do struggle really with like structure, which is fine because nobody's perfect. I realize that now. But it's certainly something that's concerned me, you know, up until quite recently in my job. And then outside of work, again, I'm always comparing myself to other people, and I'm always, you can have this way of just viewing that everybody's life is in perfect order and everybody's kind of got the shit together better than you. And the reality is that's not the case at all if you're logical about it. But it's like this feeling at your core that you're not quite on the same level as other people. And it's dangerous to think that way, I think, because it comes out in your words and your actions, and you're not doing yourself any favors. You're not really like selling yourself. I mean, if you can't sell yourself to yourself, then you can't sell yourself to anyone. That's the thing. And just going back to what I mentioned earlier, trying new things, you know, I'll give them one try, a couple of tries, and I'll get disheartened. It's like the YouTube. None of my videos are perfect. I'm more than aware of that, but I need to keep at it because it is something I enjoy, rather than just looking back at my videos and focusing on the negatives. I think, I should just do it because I enjoy it. And, I'd say 95% of the time I do that, but sometimes I do get a bit discouraged with it, and I'll kind of sit and procrastinate and think, is this worth pursuing because I'm not perfect at it? But it shouldn't be about being perfect at it. With my artwork, I do a bit of drawing. I've got an Instagram, I'll put pictures up there, and are they perfect? No. Are they bad? No, they're actually pretty good, if I do say so myself. But I used to not even be able to start a drawing because I'd be worried that it would turn out badly. And then every time I did it, it always turned out, to a decent standard. But no matter how many times I did it, it would never change the feeling the next time I went to draw something. And another thing was that, with the drawings and the paintings, sometimes I just felt like they were never finished. They were never good enough. There was always more to do. And recently I've learned to let go. I've challenged myself to do like one drawing a day. If it's good, it's good. If it's bad, it's bad. Whatever. It's all just learning. It's about the learning, and it's about enjoying it. A lot of the time, it's about the journey. You just learn as you go along, and we're all human and we make mistakes. It's really odd because if you kind of step outside of yourself and you look at how you're treating yourself, it doesn't make any sense. So, to give you an example, I mean, work would be the best example, really, of say something without going into too much detail about my work, but say something didn't go to plan for somebody at work, and I would look at that situation and say, well, sometimes you can't help it because there's factors out of your control, which is completely true, 100%. That's what I would logically say to them. If the same scenario happens to me, I wouldn't think, oh well, it's out of my control and I did my best. I would think, oh well, maybe I could have took this approach slightly differently, and then it wouldn't have happened. But when you step away, you're like, well, I wouldn't say that to somebody else, so why am I being so hard on myself? It's like you expect yourself to have a crystal ball, and again, like I said earlier, just to get things right first time, and as people, it's not always going to happen. I tried acting classes recently, and it's like I just expected to stand up and be amazing. I actually did have a bit of natural talent for it, I'm not going to lie, but I expected myself to be flawless, and I was so hard on myself when I made a mistake. Yet, it was pretty much the first time I'd stood up and acted in literally like 20 years. It's so ridiculous, the standards you can hold yourself by. And I think you have to be careful, because if you keep feeling like that and you keep putting yourself down, if you don't value yourself, then other people aren't going to value you. It's as simple as that. In the last few years for me, I feel like I've come a long way, and definitely gained a lot of self-confidence. But more recently, I have noticed that, yeah, okay, now I'm at the point where I've achieved some things, but it's just not enough. I keep pushing myself more and more. And that's a good thing, like I said right at the start, it's a good thing to push yourself, but in my mind, it's somehow kind of become counterproductive where I'm pushing myself too much and I need to kind of slow it down and and maybe not even slow it down, just accept that yeah, things go wrong sometimes and you don't get everything right, and realize that yeah, okay, I'm not as good as some people at some things, some aspects. But in the same breath, there's things that I could absolutely categorically say that I am a lot better than the majority of people are. You don't notice really. It kind of over time it can get out of hand, and then the next thing you know, it's coming out in the things you say, in the way you act, in the way you carry yourself, and it's just like ingrained into you. So you don't even notice it, and that's when it can get scary. Really, you have to kind of be able to, I think, reflect to an extent to really start to tackle it. I mean, I have a sense of humor that's self-deprecating, and I don't think that's a bad thing, but it's all right having a laugh and a joke about stuff. Just make sure that's all it is, and you're not walking away and in your head you really believe in all this stuff, or you're giving yourself a hard time. I mean, I think from me, it's always stemmed from just generalized anxiety. The just a general fear of failure, which again, like I said earlier, the last few years I've come so far. Come so far, it's ridiculous, but there is still a fear of failure there at certain aspects of my life, and it's completely illogical. There's things I would do though that people would say, "Oh, I would never do that. I would never put myself in that situation. I'd be too scared to do it." So on the outside, to some people, it probably doesn't seem like I have this fear of failure, but it is there. I think it's there in all of us to an extent, and a lot of the times you've just got to push through it, or you're kind of in danger of never really like trying anything new or achieving anything that's worth talking about. I think you want to get to a point in your life where you can turn around, you can look back, and you can say, "Yeah, I did that," or "I tried that." It's definitely better to try and fail than just to have never tried at all. I know people that have never tried at all, and they might not say it, but I do think, wow, I think you're really unhappy inside because I've been there. I've never took risks. I've never tried anything. I played it safe, and it sucked. It made me unhappy. But I was scared of failure, so I always felt like to try would make me more unhappy. Which and the complete opposite is true, really. But yeah, I digress. No, I don't digress. I think I was staying on point there. I'm just trying to sound smart, throw some words in. So yeah, I mean, man, I'm on a Debbie Downer here. But on a more positive note, this is something that I've recognised recently, and it's like the second I recognised it that this was a thing I could put a label on it. Perfectionism. It was just like in my head something clicked, and I've even noticed more recently like I've not really been ragging on myself so much. You know, I don't consider myself to be less than other people. I don't consider myself to be better, but I definitely don't consider myself to be lesser. So that's definitely changed. Something's changed in my mind there. When I'm in work, I don't find myself comparing to other people anymore. I just think, do you know what? I have a different way of doing things. This works for me. Talking about the structure earlier, yeah, I struggle with structure and like admin style work. And I've been reading a book recently about drawing and the right side of the brain, and it kind of makes sense to me that I think I utilize that side of my brain more than the left. And the left is the one that would kind of deal with all the more structured, logical side, I think. I just have a different way of thinking. I just access that a bit more than maybe other people would, and they would access the left side more. At least that's the way that I'm interpreting it anyway. And like I said, I think that's why I'm good at drawing. I think that's why I'm good at acting or creative, anything creative really. I don't find it too difficult. I definitely have an active imagination. So I'm just a little bit different really, and different isn't always bad. It's just different. That's what I bring to the workplace. I bring a different approach. And it works, nobody's complaining about the work that I do or the way that I act. At least not that I'm aware of. It's just like a lot of it's in your mind. And it's very hard sometimes to kind of separate, what's real and what's not. You can convince yourself anything's real. It's like if you really want to believe something, you'll find a few scraps of evidence that support it, no matter how vague they are, and they'll just kind of reaffirm your beliefs. And at the same time, you have to be mindful of that, but at the same time, you don't want to overthink anything. So it's just like, it's difficult. The best thing I think you can do is to pull on other people, and if you're really struggling with something similar to this or anything really to do with your general mental health, the best bet is always to reach out. You know, speak to your doctor, speak to your friends, your family, speak to a counsellor, and you never know. Like, it might just click for you. And just remember, like, don't be so hard on yourself all the time. We're all hard on ourselves to an extent, but if you're just beating yourself down for failing, then you're just making yourself feel worse. You know, you should be proud that you even tried, that you even bothered in the first place. Because I think a lot of people in this day and age just won't even bother. Everyone's so perfect. When you look online or you look around you hear people talking about their lives. They don't give you all the crap that goes on in the background or all the insecurities that go on in the head. They don't do it. Just like you probably wouldn't. So yeah, just go easy on yourself and focus on your strengths. And I honestly do believe that we're all good at something. We all are, and we're all good at something. Sometimes you just don't know what it is. You don't know what it is till you've tried it. That's what it is with the people that say they're good at nothing. They've just not found it yet. That's all it is. But yeah, that's it. That's my depressing rant over. I'm actually quite impressed. I've kept it under half an hour, which is pretty good for me. I hope you enjoyed my video as well. It's Minecraft. I'm trying to build my street on Minecraft. I've not got very far. I loaded up the save file and it completely changed the roof tile, so I had to redo the whole flipping roof on the house. Really annoying. I feel like every time I put Minecraft on, it's flipping updating. It's like new blocks like every week or something, it feels like. I'm probably exaggerating, but yeah. So yeah, I think on these videos where I'm just going to be like talking about my experiences or just my general thoughts, I'll probably keep with this Minecraft theme, and then before you know it, I'll have like a whole city because I've taught that much bollocks. I was thinking my next video I might talk about speed dating actually. I did that for a while and that was an experience, and I have found that when I've looked out there online, there's really naff all in terms of decent resources. especially for the UK as well. There's a lot of Americanized stuff, but it's all very like it wasn't what I experienced speed dating to be. It was a completely different experience than what's advertised, and some of the tips you get on there are just absolute garbage. Like I could definitely give some miles better advice. I'm not saying I'm like an absolute stud, but I can go there and get a few matches. And there's definitely things I could say don't do that would help some beginners. If anyone's ever feeling like taking the dive into that world, it's like I was saying earlier, just try some stuff, and if you fail, feck it. As long as you enjoyed it and you learned from it, you will learn from it. You definitely will learn from it. So yeah. Anyway, that's that. That's the end of this video. So I hope you enjoyed. PlayStation 2 video coming soon. I might do an Xbox collection video as well, and at some point I'll talk about some more PS4 games and stuff. But yeah, that's it. Bye.